Hey, come on. I want to start the video, Loki. Come here. I'll help you down. There you go. Okay. Stretch it out. Okay, good boy. Hello, friends. Welcome to James's Gems of the Week. This is the video series in which I, James Stevenson, walk you through all the tweets that I've liked over the past week, and Loki the Chihuahua and I comment on why I liked those tweets. So without further ado, I will share my screen. And Loki and I will walk you through those tweets. So let's bring those up. I've queued these up to where we left off on last week's James's Gems of the Week. And the first tweet that's new that I liked came from Tesla Vice President of Investor Relations, Martin Vieja, who tweeted, Q2 deliveries are out. Unique quarter for sure due to shutdowns. Fortunately, end of Q was strong as June was our record production month ever, with a link to the production and deliveries report that we've already talked about last week. But this dynamic is the common refrain that I echoed throughout my Q2 earnings forecast review video that I recorded earlier this morning. So if you want to go check out that video, I will go into detail on what Martin is talking about. What is he trying to prepare retail investors and Wall Street to hear on July 20th? All right, the next tweet that I liked came from Holmar's Catalog at Holmar's Blog on Twitter, who you should be following. Tesla usually does so well that growing sales only 24% year over year is considered terrible, a rare sequential decline. Yes, so deliveries are down. That's another topic that I went into a lot of detail on in my forecast review video, which is under 1 hour. It's 59.5 minutes long. So go check that out if you want to really deep dive into my commentary on the forecast thread that I tweeted out almost a week ago. Next tweet that I liked came from Duncan Booth at EMBOOTHOO. EM Booth, all right. And Duncan said, thanks, James. I suppose I was hoping they were actually as stupid as they seem. You're pretty great. So why would I like that tweet? Let's go find the context. So this was my Bitcoin video that I released last week, which you can go check out if you want to know how much I'm estimating the Bitcoin impairment charge will be on Tesla's Q2 earnings. Spoiler alert, like $450 million-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. And the first reply Duncan had was, hey, James, can't Zach pull the lever of the tax losses thingo that he has up his sleeve? And I said he could, and it could prop up GAAP net income to the tune of $1.6 billion, GAAP EPS by $1.35 or $1.50 or whatever. But the Wall Street analysts would rightly back it out of adjusted earnings and EPS as non-sustainable, along with the Bitcoin impairment and the restructuring. So it's no real help. So that's why I liked this tweet from Duncan. I was the only person who liked that tweet. Next is a tweet from Gemma at James Dalma on Twitter, who you should be following if you're a fan of the Dave Lee channel. He's done many, many interviews with James where they discuss Tesla's approach to full self-driving and neural nets and artificial intelligence and machine learning and related topics. So this was a reply to tweet 17 from my 28 tweet forecast thread that I mentioned earlier, where this was kind of an unusual, potentially confusing chart. So I tried to tip people off to the couple of things on here that were going to trip them up potentially. And James Dalma liked this chart. He thought that it was a clever way of illustrating that Tesla's earnings per share have been growing steadily on a log scale over time, and that in Q2, it's going to be flat on a next 12 months basis, but it'll go right back to that same slope of growth again immediately afterwards. So I was happy that James Dalma liked that. And Emmett Peppers also replied with a nice thing to say. He said, love the charts and graphs here in that thread. So I like that. Kathy Kitchler, I hope I'm saying that right, sent a couple of tweets that I liked. Unless Elon likes some new juicy detail, or leaks, sorry, unless Elon leaks some new juicy detail, getting new charts from James are among the best moments on Tesla Twitter. So how could I not like that? It's a nice thing to say. And then, oh, I answered a question that Kathy had on tweet 2 from that thread a week ago. What's driving the slight dip in Q3 2025? Now, folks, that is going a long way out, and I have very low confidence in my forecast for what's going to happen in Q3 of 2025. But I mentioned that all factories should be ramped by then, and Q2 is the only quarter when Shanghai works all 13 weeks due to holidays. So Kathy remarked that she is slowly showing her college daughter and friends working their first real job internships some basics of saving, investing, Roth IRA, etc., and that she planned to use some of my charts as educational aids. So I like that tweet. Next, I liked a retweet from T at Tesla SG, who tweeted, I have been working with charts and graphs for over 13 years. Have to say, these charts are beautiful. And then cash tagged it Tesla and tagged me at I cannot underscore enough. So I thought that was nice. A nice retweet, so I liked that. Next is a tweet from DBF Running. So the tweet says, LOL, true, great work, James. Thanks for all of it. So that account had first replied, you should make a chart incorporating projections, like future projections. And I said, if I did, it would look a lot like this. What am I talking about? Well, I'll show you this chart again briefly. I talk about it more in my forecast review video that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, Tesla made a third of the revenue they have ever made in 2021, as of the end of 2021, when the snapshot was taken, when this chart was created, with another third coming in 2019 and 2020 combined. So he's asking, hey, can you make one of these that does future projections? And I'm saying the look of the chart would be very similar to this. If this were 2025, that was 2024, that was 2023, et cetera, right? As the revenue growth continues. Pardon my phone ringing. So next we go to the next tweet that I liked from CyberKevin 1111 at I am not super mini. It's the extra T in the latte that adds $10. Now, why would I like that tweet? I'll scroll up and show you. Oh, I can't show you because the tweet was deleted by the tweet author. So the best I can recall, this was someone sharing a receipt from the Wynn Resort in Las Vegas. I apologize if I got it wrong from memory, which hotel they were talking about. Could have been Bellagio, could have been any of the world-class Las Vegas resorts. They had ordered room service, and the pricing was higher than you would expect for a coffee, a latte, and a couple of other items. I want to say it was an $80 bill. So I went to make this joke in the comments. But first, I scanned the replies to see if someone else had made the joke already. And CyberKevin1111 had already made the joke. And the rule is you have to give them a like if they already made the joke you were going to make. So that's what I did there. That's my rule. I don't know if everybody else follows that rule, but I think it should be a universally observed rule. FSD Beta Joe at JD Average tweeted, well, it's official. Wife and I will be moving to Tesla Insurance by end of month. Been a great ride with Geico, but being able to save $1,600 on our Teslas was enough incentive to make the move. Wow. So that's huge savings switching to Tesla Insurance. And I liked that tweet. John Kreider tweeted, I went from being a homeless nobody to interviewing Elon Musk. Still feels unreal, grateful, just an overwhelming sense of gratitude. So how could I not like that? Matster at MatsterT3 on Twitter tweeted a thinking emoji followed by makes no sense to multiply month 3 of quarter sales by 12 due to delivery wave. The 1.9 million number is meaningless. I like this tweet. Let's see what it's in reply to. Okay, this is in reply to Gary Black retweeting Jose Calvino. So first I'll read Jose's tweet here, where he tagged a few people and said, at 473,000 per quarter unit sales, based on July deliveries of 158,000 almost, equals 1.89 million per year and still ramping. Based on some of Q1 and Q2 deliveries minus MS sales data through May of 406,869. So what's the exhibit here? This is showing year-to-date sales for May. So the first 5 months of 2022 combined, right? According to evvolumes.com and Morgan Stanley is what's quoted as the source here. Adam Jonas, famously the Tesla analyst for Morgan Stanley. So the Tesla row is highlighted here as the leader selling the most EVs with an estimate of 406,869. And I really want to emphasize the word estimate here on this number. Tesla did not report that they sold 406,869 Teslas as of the year to date ended May. This is a guess that somebody had, right? So I liked this reply to Gary's tweet, which was Tesla delivered 158,000 units in June almost, equal to a run rate of 1.89 million units per year. July will be less due to the 14-day Gigafactory 3 upgrade, that being the Shanghai upgrade. This should lead analysts to increase FY23 volumes and EPS estimates, with Berlin and Austin still ramping. So I replied to this, didn't I? This is a whole lot of buildup for nothing if I can't get to my reply. Oh, here it is, yes. A couple of observations. Number one, Jose's June deliveries number was backed into based on somebody's estimate of May year-to-date deliveries that could have been wrong, requiring a big June true-up to the number Tesla reported. What do I mean here? I'm saying, hey, if the year-to-date May guess somebody made was 408,000, and then Tesla reports a number close to 600,000, maybe it's not that they were exactly right with their year-to-date May estimate and that Tesla sold some huge number in June. Maybe it's that their guess on the year-to-date May estimate was too low, right? Number two, even if the June deliveries number is right, it includes vehicles produced in April and May. There's a difference between deliveries and production, right? You don't want to annualize the June-only deliveries number because it couldn't be repeated in July through September without further ramping of factories, line upgrades, et cetera. And then I asked, do you really want investors to expect greater than 473,000 Q3 deliveries? And I replied to that, I would personally rather have investors expect the 374,000 Q3 deliveries I'm forecasting. So Gary wrote me back and said he's at 372,000 deliveries for Q3. And as he pointed out in his tweet, GF3 will be closed for 14 to 18 days. Well, okay. I replied to this, Twitter, where you can watch two nerds argue over deliveries forecasts that are less than 0.7% apart. He's at 372, and I'm at 374, 348. So we both expect damn near exactly the same number for Q3 deliveries. I was just trying to caution against telling people, hey, Tesla is already producing at this quarterly rate, because my expectation is that they will not be producing at a 1.89 million per year rate for a few more quarters. Okay. So back we go to the next tweet I liked from Tim Ursich Jr., which I may be pronouncing wrong, Ursich Forsynet CA, who tweeted, "I just wanted to take a second and thank at Real Dan O'Dowd. In celebration of beating you, in spite of my spending $3,400 to your $4 million in whatever the hell your campaign was supposed to be, I appreciate your inspiration. Welcome home, Terry." Elon Musk tagged here along with Holmar's blog. So these are photos from Terry, the Tesla, the new car purchased by Tim Ursich Jr., who I guess won the election against Real Dan O'Dowd. I did reply with a laughing, crying emoji, retweeting myself from June 9th, remarking that Dan O'Dowd lost almost $100 per vote he received. That's Tesla Q caliber return on investment. But I had to CC Holmar's blog on that because I know he gives it his all, keeping Dan O'Dowd in line. This is the guy running for office on the campaign of trying to make the world safe from Tesla full self-driving, which by all statistical measures is among the safest forms of transportation there are, right? The incidence of traffic accidents in FSD Teslas is far, far lower than any other form of road transportation you could take. All right, so I liked a couple of those tweets that I read from Gary. Then Tesla Chris at Cybertruck Mars tweeted out this video with the caption, "Another good reason to have a Tesla, lions can't open your car doors." And I thought that was a good enough start on remarking on this video that I would retweet this same video myself with a different caption, which I did. And, I wanted to give this tweet a like because that's where I saw the video of the lioness opening an unlocked door and scaring its occupants who did not want to become lunch. All right. Next up, Lewis Winthrow at Lewis Winthrow 5 tweeted, "Censorious." Now, is this a like? Did I lose my place? Oh, I did. I didn't like this tweet. Now I have to find my place again. All right. Bear with me while I scroll my likes. It's not going to be very far, I don't think. Yeah, so we're caught up again. There's the Tesla Chris tweet that I liked. The next tweet that I liked came from Shibatoshi Nakamoto at Billiam2K, who Elon frequently interacts with, who tweeted Bird app with the image from the Wall Street Journal. This is a meme, not a real tweet in reply. Wall Street Journal tweets, "Elon not good." Elon Musk replies, "Wrong." And then look at the engagement numbers here. So the Wall Street Journal gets 2 comments, 29 retweets, and 25 likes on their original tweet. And then when Elon Musk replies with a 5-character reply, "Wrong," he gets 13 million likes, 80,000 retweets, and 495,572 replies. This seems accurate. So I was one of the 41,600 people who liked this tweet. Elon Musk was also one of the people who liked this tweet. I liked a tweet from Elon. He said maybe later this year. So what's he talking about there? Well, if we scroll up a little, this was a Tasmanian thread originally at Tasmanian_com, The Boring Company and 55 Vegas resorts. So yeah, zip around Vegas super fast with Teslas in tunnels. So the Boring Company is continuing to expand its network of tunnels throughout Las Vegas. which is a great place to travel by tunnel in the summer when it's crazy hot outside. You don't want to walk in Vegas. Also, lots and lots of vehicle traffic in Las Vegas. So the roads are potentially treacherous to tread across a lot of. Then Owen Sparks replied, how long until they are using FSD in the tunnels? So that's where this tweet came in, maybe later this year. I liked that. Earl of Frunkpuppy tweeted, I just bought a house. And I liked that tweet. What was he replying to? A tweet from Napenlus. I'm trying to pronounce it the way that I'm supposed to pronounce it in Icelandic. It's not the way it looks. It means nameless, literally, which is the word for anonymous in Icelandic. The chair of the Russian Duma threatens to claim back Alaska if the US seizes Russian assets frozen due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So that was the tweet. And the reply from Dr. Earl Banning at 28 delays later, Earl of Frunkpuppy, I just bought a house in Alaska and now he's in danger of Russian invasion. So I like that. I don't think the Russians are going to invade Alaska. I'm going to go on the record with that prediction. I feel pretty safe that the Russians are not going to invade Alaska. I always like a tweet or two per week from Mayor Thaker. This week it was his tweet, the fact that she has both James and I blocked despite never having interacted with us, tells us all we need to know. She wants to remain in an echo chamber, and echo chamber she shall remain in. What was that talking about? Well, up we go. Barry Ritholtz, a verified account, I don't know who this account is, tweeted, interesting thread on Tesla's cash burn from Loving Wildlife with a Y in the life part of wildlife. So I can't view that tweet directly because this user blocks me on Twitter, which Mayor alluded to in his tweet, that he is also blocked by this account. I became aware of this because Jason Capel, at Jason Capel, tagged us both in his reply, would like to hear your response to this. And I replied, OP must not be interested in hearing my opinion, with the snarky sarcasm emoji here. So Chris Jones replied, it's not worth your time. The person clearly does not understand how to interpret financial statements. But I replied anyway. I got curious and looked. Here are the screenshots for others blocked by at Loving Wildlife. Stephanie's theories need more vetting, in quotes, because Stephanie is a DVM, according to the name display above her handle, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. So these are going to be really hard to read, but the thrust of her thread was that Tesla is burning through cash. You can see that quote here, burning through, I can't highlight it, but it's right there. Burning through cash, and that there was a lot of payroll tax last year, which I guess Stephanie expects will continue. It won't, it was a one-time item. And the factories are money furnaces, which she got from an interview that Elon gave. I go into that in pretty good detail in the forecast video that I recorded earlier this morning, which I will say for a third time is worth your time, I think, to listen through. Then this is the most interesting part of Tesla. Their net income rise is incredible, yet they can't seem to keep any cash. I don't know how Stephanie has arrived at the conclusion that Tesla can't seem to keep any cash, because Tesla has been keeping more than $17 billion worth of cash at all times for over a year. Where are the new models? Where are the upgrades? Why are they firing 10% of the staff? It's not 10% of the staff. It was 10% of the salaried workers, which is like 3% of overall staff. Why all the bankruptcy and furnaces talk? Maybe it's who you're following and who you're blocking, Stephanie, that could be the cause of that. Okay, I've said enough about that. I'll just read you the next tweet. Stephanie may be confused when Tesla declares less than $0.1 billion of 2022 CEO stock compensation expense. I have a chart in my forecast thread that shows how little expense there is left that Tesla can declare against CEO stock compensation expense throughout the rest of this year. I'd explain why, but she's having difficulty disambiguating cash basis from accrual basis accounting and didn't notice Tesla paying down recourse debt. So I left it there with the sunglasses up here showing Tesla's cash balance. As I said, $17 billion-ish every quarter for the past 5 quarters. And then this other table, I found these very quickly, by the way. This is like the first hit you get if you Google it. Then under long-term debt, there's long-term debt excluding capitalized leases. You can see on the bar charts here that that number keeps dropping from 8 billion in the quarter ended March 2021 to about 2 billion in the quarter ended March 2022. Gee, how did Tesla pay down in advance $6 billion of the 8 billion in long-term debt that was outstanding a year ago and still maintain the cash balance that we see here? How is that possible if they're burning cash? It shouldn't be, right? So Stephanie has misapprehended Tesla's financial position, as many in Tesla Q have for years. So that's the context behind that tweet. Next is a tweet from Dutchy Wiegans, I'm gonna say, probably mispronouncing that. Strangely, doctor of veterinary medicine is not the best source for corporate financial analysis. Huh. Yeah, Mayor and I both work professionally as financial analysts, and Stephanie does not. I next like to reply from What's Up Franks at What's Up Franks on Twitter. I assume he sets up a plexiglass in front of him he can write on and adds the overlays using an ATEM from Blackmagic Design. If you notice, when he's drawing, he's looking off screen at another monitor to make sure he's circling the right parts of the graph he's drawing on. What are we talking about here? It's this tweet that began from Madame Alexandra S. Impressive new presentation style from Real Meat Kevin in this new video. Does anyone know the setup? So that's what What's Up Franks was describing. If you want to see this video, go check it out. Search Twitter for it and find it. Kind of a cool direct to camera YouTube approach with graphs on the page and then marking on it with a physical marker. Kind of fun. Dry erase marker. Okay, Earl of Shrunk Puppy tweeted, Elon Musk babies to outnumber Twitter bots by 2025, recent study. So thought that was pretty funny. It's a standalone tweet in light of some news that came out over the week that Elon Musk is doing his part to prevent the population collapse of the Earth. Next, a tweet from SpaceX. In addition to withstanding extreme cold, heat, hail, sleet, heavy rain, and gale force winds, Starlink is rugged enough to withstand rocket landings. Here's live video captured on a SpaceX drone ship at sea with and without Starlink. And you can see the comparison is very clear. Starlink allows for a much higher bitrate upload than whatever they were using previously that Elon said was very expensive, like 150 grand a month they were paying for that old service. So Starlink is a lot better. Next tweet I liked from at Boston Love and Life. They may have also prioritized it to get extra cash to mitigate some of the pain in the quarter. So what are we talking about here? This is James Cat at Tesla Fan MTL. Tweeting massive month for China, Model Y outselling Model 3 at a ratio of 2-to-1. Some bears thought this impossible because Model Y is more expensive, but they are clowns. hashtag Tesla, and he's retweeting Moneyball at dcurac, tweeting Tesla made in China, June wholesale, Model Y 52,000, Model 3 26,000. Yeah, so those were the numbers from June, much stronger than they were earlier in the quarter due to those Shanghai lockdowns. Okay, the next tweet that I liked came from the Shorts historian at Tesla Historian on Twitter. If you're not following this account, I suggest that you do. It's funny. He tweeted, "This day in Tesla Q history, I really didn't think Brad Munken would be around in 2022. Shrugging emoji. And what's this say? It's a tweet from July 7th, 2019 from Motorhead at Brad Munken, replying to Mark B. Spiegel, another famous Tesla Q generalissimo. Do you really think hashtag Tesla will be around in 2021? Well, this is where the Tesla stock price was at the time he sent that tweet in 2019, among the lowest stock prices there have been in the past 5 years. And look at the chart since. Oh, Brad Munken. An endless source of entertainment, he. If you haven't seen the tweet he sent out once, predicting that the starting price for the Tesla Cybertruck would be $160,000. You can search Twitter for that. Not the most rigorous analysis for that price point. All right, next is a tweet I liked from not an analyst at facts_Tesla. January through June, electric vehicle BEV share in China, the world's largest car market. In 2022, Tesla had 19% of the electric vehicle market in China. The year before it was 9%. The year before that, it was 4%, making an annual growth rate of 129% on market share. And market share gets more and more difficult to grow the higher it goes, because you're fighting against yourself from prior years, taking more and more of the share of the market, right? So this annual growth rate will certainly not continue, and I'll give you an example of that. If it grows again by 129% on 19%, well, that'll be 45%. And if it grows again at 129% the year after that, it'll be 100%. And you can't take 100% of the electric vehicle market unless you are the only seller of electric vehicles, right? Okay, another tweet from Boston Love and Life. And that's with a production depressed Tesla number. Impressive. So that's a reply to this same thread. Yep. Then I like to tweet from Bradford Ferguson at Brad S. Ferguson on Twitter. James, and then they will refuse to change their thesis, even though their thesis is obviously broken. So up we'll scroll here to see what James Katz's thread was about, and I liked both of these tweets as well, so they'll be next. 78,000 models 3 and Y delivered in China in June 2022, big numbers. In all of 2019, Tesla only delivered 35,000 cars in China all year. All year, 35,000 cars in 2019. In June alone, 78,000. Where's the excess capacity, Tesla Q? Why are they raising capacity further to 1.1 million from 150,000 in 2020? How did they get this so wrong? I'll tell you. Zero comprehension of price elasticities, supply and demand, market analysis, competitive analysis, and consumer behavior. That's a lot of things to get wrong in your analysis, and they did on the Tesla Q side, as the facts have borne out. Okay, so there's those tweets. And next is a tweet from Sue McLean at DCCW Rules. It's just flipping a switch to turn out 10K per week, right? I'll click on this and scroll up to the top so we can get this in context. Okay, so this thread began from Fly4Dat at Fly4Dat, longtime Tesla Q generalissimo, longtime Tesla hater and short seller, who tweeted congratulations to Elon Musk for Tesla becoming number 7 in Germany in Q2 with a brand new factory up and running. The Model Y could almost make it into the top 10 of BEVs there and could easily, well, I'm not going to read the rest of that. YouTube might demonetize me. So here's the best sellers for Q2 2022. He only selected Germany as the only country he wanted. This data source, EV-volumes or EU-EVs.com, sorry, has, I think, 14 countries worth of data. But the slice of that data Fly4Dat is interested in is just one country, just Germany. So these are the numbers from Q2, which is a full completed quarter. And Tesla is here in 7th or 8th place, right? In terms of groups, and not to be found on the top models list until the end of the top 10, right? So that's the tweet. And I replied, so what does this tweet mean? Are you predicting that the Tesla Model Y and Tesla Model 3 will both finish outside the top 10 EVs by units sold in Europe in 2022? Just to provide, well, I'll keep going with the tweets. So fly means that several years of first week of first quarter in select European country delivery stats didn't teach him a thing. Now, what Dimitri is referring to is the very real dynamic of Tesla Q early in each quarter, you know, at the end of the first month of each quarter or whatever, tweeting something very similar to this with the quarter to date totals, knowing full well that the deliveries for Tesla haven't started hitting yet in earnest for the quarter, because Tesla sends a wave of production to Europe on ships from China that take a long time to get there, right? Or from Fremont that take even longer to get there. In the case of Model S and Model X, which are not produced anywhere but Fremont. So usually it's the last month of the quarter when Europe has the most Tesla deliveries. So that's the dynamic Dimitri is referring to here. But I replied, the data in question is all from Q2, which is a complete quarter now. But perhaps it does show that Fly likes to pretend on Twitter to be unaware of what was really happening in Q2, that the Shanghai lockdown's factory closure artificially limited Tesla's production available to ship to Europe in Q2. So Fly4Dat replied to me, so we have a bull here who doesn't grasp that the first week of July doesn't fall in Q2, referring to Dimitri, and another bull, referring to me, that doesn't say a single word about a brand new factory that's allegedly been operating for the full quarter at a pace of 500,000 per year, or at least ramping up quicker than Shanghai. Well, I said no such thing, and my forecasts will reflect that I am not forecasting anything close to this annual production rate, and wouldn't because as Sagar Patel at Oaktown Boy 510 replied, surprise, you can't just start ramping up that many cars in a brand new factory, which is what Sue McLean replied to. It's just flipping a switch to churn out 10,000 vehicles per week, right? Oh yeah, really easy. Yeah, you build a new factory, you flip a switch, you're making 10,000 units per week. It's that easy. No, it is not that easy. Okay, and then the last tweet for James's Gems of the Week comes from EnergyVest. At EnergyVest on Twitter, Tesla, the profit margin leader in the automotive industry, and this is before the hugely profitable Berlin, Austin, and Shanghai expansion have even begun to ramp, hashtag Tesla. So what are we looking at here? This is a chart EnergyVest made of gross margin percent and EBITDA percent for Tesla versus the rest of the auto industry. Yeah, so here's Tesla at 29.1% gross margin, 23.9% EBITDA percent. And if you're trying to tie this number out against what Tesla reports adjusted EBITDA, and this is regular EBITDA, which is the number that EnergyVest was able to find for these other companies most easily, probably. So for VW, Q4 21 was used, is what this footnote says. So look at these other companies here. Volkswagen 19, 11. Well, I'm not going to read them all, but the ones with negative EBITDA percent are NIO, negative 18%. That's not good. Well, I should note, I guess, that GM and Ford are at about 10% EBITDA. Tesla's at 24%. Now, even if this takes a hit of like 4 points in Q2 due to sales mix, that's still going to be double what GM and Ford are making in terms of EBITDA percentage, right? So it's all about perspective. A sequential decline for Tesla is sometimes a decline to a number that's still twice as profitable as companies that have been making cars for over 100 years. That's informative to an investor, I would say. And then over here we have Lucid and Rivian both losing more than 900% at the EBITDA percent line. So really, really puts it in perspective if you're an investor in any of these companies. I should also note BYD, even lower than GM and Ford at less than 7% EBITDA as a percent of revenue. So I like this tweet. And that brings me to the end of James's Gems of the Week. And I hope you liked this tweet. If you did, click the like button. And if you don't subscribe to my channel and you want to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next one.